Hey everybody, so we're picking up now and we've actually made quite a bit of progress since our last video. I ended up getting the head gaskets and a complete seal kit for the engine. I got the LS1 crank pulley, put the heads back together, and well, here you go. I got the long block pretty much all ready to go. I left the oil pan off just so that I can see how much clearance I have in the car, but we're ready to take this thing off the engine stand. And actually we just got to put the timing cover back on. But I need to take it off the engine stand first, and then we can bolt up that mock-up 4060 I got sitting over there in that pile. And I think we're ready to start lowering it into the car. So yeah, now I'm just going to take it off the stand and start bolting up the trans. Got the engine lowered down, got the transmission lined up. I just got to throw some bolts in it. And man, this thing is starting to come together. It's starting to look really sick. I'm starting to get really excited now. I can't wait to get this thing in there and running. It's going to be a little bit, but that's definitely a motivator, just seeing that whole powertrain bolted up together. Man. Okay, well, I'm going to bolt it up and then I'm going to kick it outside and see if we can see how well it fits. So I got the engine and trans sitting in the car and it looks sick. It's crazy how well everything's lining up. So right here is where the factory engine mount bolts on the plate, and here's the factory Audi mounting location, and they're pretty close. That'll be good enough for a mount to make a little bracket here and go straight to that. We're not gonna get an oil pan on there, so I'm gonna have to cut this cross member out, and I'll just I'll cut it off here for now. But when it's done and I get it driving, I'll weld in a bar which drops down a little lower underneath the oil pan to the other side, so you just have a little bit more clearance. Our goal was to get the crank pulley sitting behind these frame rails here. It is sticking out about probably an inch or two. That's something that we can work with. Exhaust manifolds, maybe if we can lower the engine down a little bit because of the crossmember now, we'll have a little bit of room to go straight down there. Actually, you know what? Let's get one. Look at that. Tons of room. Down there it seems to be pointing a little bit at the that cross member again going to the back, but you know, maybe I'll just cut that whole thing out and replace it with like a tubular frame and get rid of a lot of our clearance issues, because that would help a lot. It would make it sit a lot nicer. Here I can show you how the transmission is sitting too. So I just got it held up with the floor jack right now. There's a heat shield up there that I gotta take out, but it's pretty much cleared on both sides. I got probably 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches on that side, and about the same on the other. I can massage these heat shields and gain a little bit of room by removing them. But even the trans mount location, like here's the bolts holes there, and there's a cross member. Like, I don't know if I can get a good shot here, but here's the mounting holes, and the trans mount's right there. It's probably 3 inches back, but I don't think that's a big deal. We just have a bar that goes straight across, and that should work out pretty good. So I'm super happy about that. It fits in there a lot better than I thought that it was going to. A lot less work than I thought that I was gonna need to do. I thought I was gonna have to cut right up to the rack, but no, just cut open this section here. If I just take this front piece out and the bottom underneath it, I should have plenty of room. And that's that. Man, that's awesome. Even the exhaust manifolds fit. So I'm gonna pull the engine out right now. I'm gonna put it back in the garage, and then tomorrow when it's daylight, I'm gonna cut out that piece and refit it and see how everything sits. So it's the next morning now. I got the engine chilling on the ground there, and so today we are going to be cleaning up this engine bay. I want to get all these AC lines, all this wiring, everything out of here. All this, I don't think I'll need any of this bracket here. Basically just rip everything out that we don't need, get rid of all this heat shielding, start tearing this out, and then once we get this out, I can see exactly what we're going to need to do to open this up. And then that cross member, I'm not exactly sure. I was thinking about it last night, and I might just trim it open because it looks like oil pans don't need to drop that low if I get a front sump, but we will see. And then the other thing I was worried about is, yes, I can get the transmission in here, but if I need to take the transmission out, is this going to be in the way of it coming out? So that's something else I'm going to have to see. So yeah, I'm going to get started on that, get it all cleaned up, and go from there. So I got all the unnecessary stuff removed. I got the AC lines and some other little things like the clips and stuff out of there. So I'm just gonna get rid of all this grease and spray it all down, and then just get it a little bit easier to work with here. Not so much grease everywhere, and then start cutting. Got a little bit of help. Doing a good job.
Down there as well, Daddy.
Yeah. So we got as far as we could. We ran out of soap, so we're gonna run out to the store and grab some more spray 9 and then get back at it. So we scrubbed and cleaned the engine bay, but I think it's just too cold out here and the grease isn't coming off the body. I think it's just getting too hard. So I closed the hood here, and I've got the radiant heater sitting under there, trying to get all these panels nice and hot so the grease kind of just comes off. But let that sit for a few minutes and give it another go. So it's all cleaned up now. It looks way better. I got all the grease off of it. Looks like new. So now I am going to start drilling out these spot welds here. And if that works out, I'll do the other side and then figure out what I'm going to do to take this out. Either I'm going to cut it or grind it up. Oh, thank you. But yeah, I'm going to either try to drill them out, but I don't think that's going to work too well because don't think I'm gonna get down in there too easily. Or you know what, maybe I'll just cut it, open it up, and then go inside and drill them out, or just grind it, you know. I'll figure it out as I go. Well, that didn't work so well, so let's try this. So we got the false firewall all cut out, and that opens it up a lot more. That's nice to see. So we can see right here is where the rack bolts up to. If we go underneath it, we can see that. Sorry, right there. What I want to do is I want to cut it up to right where this ridge is here. So now I think I'm probably just going to go with the Sawzall and cut it up to this flat end here. And then I got my flapper wheel, and I'll clean up all this stuff and see how it looks. So I finished cutting it out now, and it looks like I've gained quite a bit of room. I try to get it as flush as I could here right now. This still needs a little bit of work, but that's right up against the bracket for the power steering rack. This piece does feel a little bit flimsy, but the piece under here is a thicker metal, and the rack looks solid because it's got this layer and this layer on there. But you still need to weld a plate here and a plate here, and then run a big bar on the back just to keep it supported. But there's a ton more room, so just gonna take a quick measurement here with the measuring tape right up against the back there. Now we're sitting at 27.5 inches roughly. Well, let's just call it 27. So when I had it in last night, it was only the heads that would interfere with the rear. So if we go to the furthest bank back and put the tape on there, the crank pulley comes out to 24.5. So we got lots of room now, which is good. So now we can push that thing back and put the rad support on, and should be good to go. I still got to rip the shifter out. I'm gonna get the welder next week and start making up mounts, and then I can leave it in there, and then hopefully I can clean the garage up and move the car inside so I can start doing the wiring and all the other stuff that I need to do. So yeah, got a lot done this weekend. It's getting closer and closer. This thing should be running by the spring, hopefully. Hopefully you guys like these videos, and if you want to keep up with the build, hit that subscribe button, and that would be awesome. So that's where I'm going to leave it today for now, and see you in the next video.